Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm gonna do another list. 5 things. Why? Because I don't know, people seem to like them. You know, I have fun making them. I have fun thinking this stuff up, and people seem to like it. So today is 5 tips to get better at guitar, because we talk about guitar a lot, and this goes honestly for any instrument. Any instrument you're playing. I'm talking, I say guitar, it's anything, right? And you know, I've gotten better over the years. I'm not super at, music, but I've gotten better and I know how to get better. And I continue to get better because we should always be improving, right? Something like that. I think I've heard that somewhere. Oh, man. Anyway, 5 tips to get better at guitar or any instrument, whatever you play, this will work with it. And the first one, well, I should say all of these are based a lot on motivation, because the best way to get better is to be motivated, right? So the first tip is to practice. And this goes along with motivation. Like I said, motivation is the core of all of this. It can be hard to get motivated to practice. And obviously practice, right? That's the first thing anybody says or thinks of, but it's absolutely true. You want to get better, you need to practice, right? You need to practice your guitar, practice your chords, practice your scales, even the boring stuff. I practiced my basic chords and scales over and over and over again to get those down so that I could do them without thinking about it. And you kind of have to do that, and it can be hard to get motivated to do it. I have found, though, a couple tips to, practicing. If you keep an instrument in the room where you spend the most time, like your living room, something within reach of your chair where you sit, just put a guitar on a stand right there and it's right there. You kind of just pick it up and noodle with it throughout the day, just at random times. And that's good. That's practice. It's not always that focused practice, but any practice is good practice. And once you start practicing, if you can make yourself start it, like with anything else, you kind of keep going with it. It's getting started where it's hard to get the motivation to pick it up and open up the book and set it on the music stand and start. So if you can get the motivation to just start practicing, or to put the instrument somewhere where it's easy to get to. All right, so let's go to number 2, right? And this is also getting motivated to not just practice, but to practice the right things. And the right things, practicing the right things isn't always, what you would think. Sometimes it's good to get a lesson book, and a lot of times you'll have lessons that you don't really like that much. You're not that into, but it's good to practice the right things. It's fun to sit down and noodle around on the guitar, and I do that a lot, but it can be good to practice the right things. Like I said, the right things being the things that will make you a better guitarist, right? You will get better at the noodling around stuff if you just noodle around a lot. And some of that's great, and you should do it, but you do want to practice the right things, your scales, your chords. If you're learning about diminished chords or sevenths or the different extended chords or whatever it is, you want to practice those things to get better at them. Even if it's difficult or boring at first, it gets more exciting once, things click up here and you find that you can make all these new cool chords, or you learned a new scale and practiced it till you have it down, and then you go to play something and you can do it, and that's exciting, right? So we got 2 things, and they're both, I know practice is in both of the first 2 things, but there's a difference between practicing and practicing the right things. Practice is good. Practicing the right things is good. Do both, right? Practice your bullshit and then practice the right things. But 3, right? Try something new. Because trying something new can really get you motivated, right? Let's say you really like classic rock, right? Try learning some R&B stuff. Let's say you really like heavy metal. Try learning some country stuff. Try learning something new. The main reason being because trying something new can get you excited again, and it opens you up to new kinds of things. Believe me, if you're a metalhead and you learn some country, you're going to learn some stuff in that country music that carries over. And vice versa. If you're into country, learn some rock, learn some metal, practice something just entirely new and different, and the techniques you learn will carry over to the thing you want to be doing, and it'll make you better at your primary focus, right? And like I said, it can get you motivated. There's nothing more motivating than learning something new and getting excited about it, right? And that could go with getting a new guitar or a new instrument, or anytime you learn something new. If you're a guitarist and you pick up the banjo for the first time, or the mandolin, it's similar enough. It feels familiar. It feels like a type of guitar, but it's different enough to get you excited, right? Here's the fourth thing. This is a big one. Play with other people or backing tracks, right? We're not always able to get a band together. We're not always able to play with other people. A lot of times, if you're a teenager, your friends learn instruments, you start playing together. As an adult, it doesn't always work that way. I have a job. I have, errands to run. I got bills to pay. I got scheduling to do. But you can always play with a backing track, and that is kind of like playing with other people. But anytime you can play along with something other than you, that would be great. I mean, if you can play along with yourself, like if, you're recording and you can record yourself and play along with it, that's great. But playing with other people adds an influence to you. You're learning things that they came up with, which is different than what you would come up with. And that is like the third thing. It's trying something new. And playing with other people, you're constantly trying something new because they're going to come up with stuff independently of you. And it's the same with if, like me, you don't have time to put a band together anymore. You can always get backing tracks. And you can get backing tracks in different genres. And you're playing essentially with other musicians who have ideas that didn't originate with you, right? You're learning something new, and you're learning to play along with something new. That also goes along with practicing the right things and trying new scales and chords, because it's all coming into this. You have to learn a new scale to play along with a particular track. You have to learn new chords to play along with a particular track. If you put a band together, one of the other musicians is going to come up with something where you have to stretch yourself and learn something new to play along with it. And it can be really good for you and exciting. And, you really learn a lot. It lets you explore your instrument. The nice thing about backing tracks, particularly for exploring your instrument, unlike playing with other people, is you can put the backing track on a loop and it doesn't get tired. It doesn't need a break. It doesn't, get edgy because you can't come up with the right solo quickly, but you can just noodle with that backing track all day long and try different scales and try different, ways to approach it, and try different lead parts, or put different chords along with it to see how it sounds. You can do that all day. And that's a great learning tool, right? And that takes us into number 5, and that is, and I mentioned this before, record yourself. I mentioned you can record yourself and play along with yourself, but recording yourself is really, really good for getting better at playing an instrument, right? I learned this when I first started recording, was that you think you sound a certain way, and then you record yourself and you hear it, and you start to really hear where you're not doing very well and where you're doing things right. You can really hear the things that don't work and the things that do work. And it makes you a better guitarist or a better musician overall, no matter what you're playing, because now you have an idea of, hey, this isn't working. It doesn't sound good. This is working. It does sound good. Maybe I should lean into this more. It really gives you an idea of, because you can play it back and hear it, if a particular scale or something worked with it. This goes into playing with, like I said, playing with a backing track or playing with others. If you record yourself playing with a backing track, if you record yourself in your band, you can go back over and listen to it and really hear where you're doing things right and where you're doing things wrong. I know once I got into recording, I might record a part, 5, 6, 8, 10 times, because I'll record something, listen to it, and it doesn't sound quite right. Now I'll go back and record it differently and listen to it again and keep doing that till I find something that works well, right? it does make you a better musician because you're learning what works, what doesn't work, and you can really hear yourself. It makes a huge difference. Like, you can hear it when that guy doesn't sound good, but you don't necessarily hear it when you don't sound good unless you record yourself and listen to it back. So anyway, those are my 5 tips for getting better at guitar or any instrument. Anything at all. It works for anything with music, even singing, right? I've gotten to be a better singer through a lot of this stuff. Hey, if you're a singer, don't just sing along with the radio. I like the record yourself thing. Then you can hear if you really suck. We all think we're great singers until we record ourselves, right? Same thing with the guitar. You think you're good. I thought I had really good timing until I started recording to a click track or a drum track. And then I found out that I really needed to work on it. And I did. I worked on it and I got better. And now I can usually, as long as I already know the song, I could usually play through in one take. I might have to punch in here and there where I slipped or dropped a pick or, whatever. But usually, I could do it one take now. When I started, no, that wasn't happening. It was, my timing sucked. I thought I had good timing because I had good timing with a band. It's totally different in the studio. Anyway, tell you what, guys, you should totally subscribe to my channel because I'm awesome and you're awesome. And together, we are unstoppable, right? That's what I say. That's what she said. That's what somebody said. That's what that guy over there said. So subscribe, and in a sec, there's going to be some playlists come up. You should check them out because I said I like recording stuff, and there's going to be a songs playlist. It'll be like here or here, here, here. One of these, I don't know, in a corner. You know how it does at the end of the videos? I don't know. I put it on there. I'm never actually sure. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.